Journalism at Ohio University, reflecting all that's new in the modern world of communication. But modern is a relative term, a bridge between the past and the future. And maintaining an effective continuity is an ongoing commitment at each step along the way.
We're often asked if we're going to make changes in the School of Journalism. There seems to be a rather natural presumption that because we've got new facilities and that there's a new director in this position that some sort of revolution is going to occur. That's not going to occur because we are very, very proud of the background of the school. It seems as if the right person has been at the right place at the right time for us. Let me give you some examples. George Starr Lasher gave us the fundamental foundation of this program. He gave us the writing emphasis that we will continue.
George Starr Lasher came to Ohio University in 1924 with the specific responsibility of developing a single course in journalism into a department. His unusual background included being a part-time newspaper correspondent at the age of 10, editor and publisher of a weekly at age 19, degrees from the University of Michigan, and teaching high school English. Director Lasher had great respect for the beauty of the English language and could not tolerate its abuse. If that required diagramming long sentences and learning to start them with every known part of speech, so be it. Many innovations of the Lasher years have endured and grown. One is the ongoing association with the daily Athens Messenger, initiated with the cooperation of publisher Frederick Bush in 1925 as the first student laboratory program in America.
The Reporting Practices course is a unique cooperative venture between a private newspaper and a public university dedicated to journalism education. It has long been a source of pride to my grandfather and to my father, Gordon Bush, both publishers before me, as it is to me today.
The colorful Lasher personality earned him the title of Mr. Journalism from editor and publisher magazine, as he steadfastly related classroom to newsroom.
To George Starr Lasher, turning in an assignment late was unheard of. I can hear him now asking, "Will you tell your editor you are sorry to miss your deadline on the story?" Of course not. As for chewing gum in class, absolutely forbidden. His explanation? Simple. Just watch yourself in the mirror and think how you would look to someone you are interviewing. All over campus, Mr. Lasher was known for his daily trek from the post office to his office, almost, but never quite, buckling under the burden of about this many newspapers. He was also a great organizer of cultural trips to Columbus, even New York, so that his students could see professional theater, hear professional concerts, something he deemed vital to full personal development.
It was also in the Lasher years that our mission was defined broadly to incorporate what eventually became our 6 accredited sequences.
Reporters from WBNS-TV of Columbus will be here tomorrow as part of the station's Heart of Ohio series. One segment will be telecast live from the amphitheater of the E.W. Scripps School of Journalism.
Over the past year and a half, I have counted at least 17 people working at WBNS who have been graduates of the OU's schools here, either in broadcast journalism or in radio, TV, production, and communications. They have a great reputation nationwide.
Part of that expanded reputation took place under the leadership of L.J. Horton, a member of the faculty who became the school's second director in 1951. He, too, was an avid defender of professional journalism education. To detractors who argued in favor of strict liberal arts degrees, he pointed out that Ohio University's journalism was liberal arts. Moreover, he presented a survey showing that 78% of all newspaper editors polled preferred journalism graduates, and not one reported a deficiency in liberal arts among those who had received degrees at Ohio University.
Under L.J. Horton, the school began to reach out. It went outside the state of Ohio and began deliberately recruiting the best qualified students.
One vehicle was a highly successful summer workshop for staffs and advisors of high school newspapers and yearbooks. It reached an enrollment record of 2,000 in the 1960s. Another was summer internships for Ohio University journalism students, organized with the assistance of Gordon Bush, a university trustee. Newspapers across the country responded, later followed by magazines, radio and television stations, advertising agencies, and public relations organizations. The university's student newspaper was and continues to be independent, although most of its staff members are journalism majors. Having alternated between Ewing Hall and Ellis Hall during the first 30 years of its history, the School of Journalism moved in 1955 to a newly constructed Copeland Hall, along with the rest of the College of Commerce, later renamed the College of Business Administration. Journalism had been a part of that college since advancing from a department to a school in 1936. A newly constructed radio-TV communication building became journalism's new home in 1969, a year after John Wilhelm had become the school's third director. Mr. Wilhelm's diversified career had included newspapering in Chicago and New York, a war correspondent covering D-Day and other major European battles of World War II, later overseas news bureau assignments, then head of McGraw-Hill's World News Service.
When John Wilhelm became director, we went international, both in terms of our foreign correspondence program and in terms of our efforts to recruit the highest quality international students into the program.
A major milestone was reached the year John Wilhelm arrived at Ohio University. In May of 1968, communication became a separate college of the university, with journalism its largest school, and with Mr. Wilhelm its first dean. That also led to what has become increased emphasis on studies in the humanities and in pursuing master's degrees for such specialties as science, electronics, financial, and aviation writing. And students began to receive internships in overseas news bureaus. A newly organized Journalism Week, later Communication Week, brought leading journalists to the campus, beginning a tradition that continues to grow.
I have always believed that journalism has a most important role to play in society as the conscience of mankind and as the watchdog of government. We hope to develop the people, students, with the character, courage, and wisdom to carry out these responsibilities.
In 1972, Guido Stempel became the fourth director of the School of Journalism. Mr. Wilhelm remained as dean of the College of Communication until 1981, when he was succeeded by Paul Nelson. As Dean Emeritus, Mr. Wilhelm continued some teaching and working with overseas internships.
Guido Stempel gave us an additional focus. That is the emphasis upon meaningful research for the various professions that we serve. And this had real meaning for our graduate program.
We had substantial growth in our graduate program in the 1970s. We started a doctoral program in the 69-70 academic year and had our first doctoral graduate in 1971. We also had increased interest in the master's program, and by the end of the 70s, we had about 4 times as many graduate students as we had had a decade earlier.
In 1974, the School of Journalism moved into its own building for the first time, and the location stirred 2 historic memories. Occupied formerly by the Athens Messenger, it was named Lasher Hall. Amidst its physical changes, the school was steadily building its faculty, as it continues to do today, maintaining a balance between professional experience and scholarly achievement. With the arrival of the 1980s, Director Stemple, widely respected for his scholarly endeavors, became head of the school's Bush Research Center. And Cortland Anderson, experienced in top-level television and newspaper management, left his position as vice president of the Washington Post Company to become the journalism school's fifth director. He arrived when the school was poised to experience one of its finest hours. Following up on a relationship established by John Wilhelm and others, Director Anderson discussed with directors of the Scripps Howard Foundation the possibility of creating modern new quarters designed for state-of-the-art teaching facilities. The idea had been proposed to the foundation by one of its own members, Richard Campbell, a 1949 Ohio University graduate who then was editor of the Columbus Citizen Journal. The result was a new name, the E.W. Scripps School of Journalism, with renovation and expansion of Carnegie Hall into E.W. Scripps Hall, made possible by endowments from the foundation. Dedication of Scripps Hall was held May 2nd, 1986, on the main campus side of the building. Alumni and other guests from across the country were seated in an area once occupied by Ewing Hall, an early home of the School of Journalism. The only sad note of the occasion was that Director Anderson had died the previous December, following a brief illness.
Cortland Anderson's years were brief, but very meaningful to us because they were years of consolidation. They also were years in which, with the help of our friends, especially from Scripps Howard, we got these new facilities, and that is extremely crucial to us. These are facilities which are second to none in this country.
Echoes of the past. Challenges of the future. A link to the finest traditions of journalism epitomized by E.W. Scripps, newspaperman extraordinaire who started the Detroit News with his brother at age 18, later launched the Cincinnati Post, built one of the world's leading newspaper chains, and always encouraged journalists to be fearless yet humanitarian, idealistic yet realistic. The international spotlight on journalistic responsibility grows ever brighter as communication capabilities expand. Its implications are sensed by Ohio University's School of Journalism and its sixth director.
So are we going to make changes? Yes, we have to make changes. There's no question about that. We have to adjust the program to be in tune with contemporary journalism. But most important, we have to do everything that we can to continue the momentum which has been given to us. And if we can do that, we'll continue to have a school of which we can all be proud.